about, you may not worry about Sebastian Gorka. You may be more concerned with Trish Regan. And when we're talking about members of ISIS that are trying to attack us, there's a reality here that, I know a lot of people don't want to admit, but it is there.
We have to stop worrying. At 12:01 on January the 20th, that oppressive political correctness was dealt a deadly blow by somebody called Donald Trump. As soon as he became the commander-in-chief, as soon as he got back onto Twitter after the inauguration, he sent a very clear message. Political correctness can get people killed, and we're not going to allow it to drive policy or to make people afraid of reporting what they deem to be suspicious. So yes, in the past, maybe under Obama, under Eric Holder, absolutely you could get in trouble. Political correctness was king. But now we have the kryptonite of political correctness in the White House called Donald Trump. And as such, people should no longer be afraid to report things they see as suspicious.
Dr. Gorka, thank you very much. Good to see you.
Thank you, Trish.
All right, as we await everyone, the White House briefing, that's about to get underway momentarily. I want to bring into the conversation former NYPD Commissioner Bernie Kerik and former CIA officer Buck Sexton. Bernie, starting with you here. The fact that he was targeting Port Authority, which connects to tunnels which go to Times Square, why did he choose Port Authority in your view?
Well, first of all, we're glad that him and his device was pretty much a dud.
Yeah.
Right? Why does he pick Port Authority? Why does he pick Times Square? You probably have between 500,000 and 1 million people that will go through that hub on any given morning at that time. So if he had a device, the device was substantial, the device was working, he could have caused a lot of damage, a lot of death, and an enormous amount of chaos.
I mean, a pipe bomb like that could? I mean, what is the...
Well, he had a defective device, probably. It was a smaller device, low tech. I've heard reports 5 to 8 inch pipe bomb. It's not that big of a device. The way he had it strapped to his body, this guy probably picked this stuff up out of Inspired magazine or somewhere else. But if you had somebody that knew what they were doing with a backpack on that was loaded with explosives, we would have had chaos. In this case, him and his device was a dud, and we're lucky for it.
He's been here for 7 years, Buck. He's from Bangladesh. As Bernie says, he may have picked up how to make this device from something like Inspire, which is the ISIS magazine. So from the perspective of the CIA, in terms of what the CIA is trying to do to go after these guys, I mean, it seems to me you should maybe have a list of anybody who has a subscription to Inspire magazine or a login or somehow can when they go on the internet and they're looking at this, because while we're all for privacy, we have a reality going on here as well. What is the CIA doing?
Well, Trish, law enforcement and intelligence agencies are trying to monitor jihadists as best they can online, but as you know, it's a very big internet. There's a lot of people running around who are involved with jihadist propaganda, as well as those who are just doing research on it or trying to understand it better themselves. We don't know if he was radicalized in Bangladesh or if it all really occurred when he was here on U.S. soil. That's a really important question that I think law enforcement investigators will be able to answer in the days ahead. That will certainly tell us something about what maybe could have been done here to prevent this attack. But Trish, I know there's a sense that we're all breathing a sigh of relief because nobody was killed and nobody was even seriously injured in this event. But this was an attempted suicide bombing in the heart of New York City in the holiday season. So it's a reminder to all of us that the threat is very real. And this is what we've been expecting for a while based on what's appeared in Islamic State chat rooms. They have been saying, hit America, ISIS adherents, hit whomever you can that is one of our enemies over the holidays. And they've even, as we know, posted things about Times Square and Christmas specifically and explosives. So this is what happens when you have enough adherents around the world that are willing to go out and be self-starter terrorists.
I mean, look, what do we do, right? Bernie, you know New York City well. You had to keep New York City safe. What can law enforcement do right now to make sure that a guy isn't successful doing this?
Well, look, they're doing the best they can. First, this is New York City. You have more investigative resources, more intelligence resources than any other municipality in the country. They're constantly working with the FBI Joint Terrorist Task Force, the FBI, the State Department, the CIA on
So how'd they
who's
miss
coming
him?
in. But look, you're not going to get everyone. You know, the unfortunate thing is it's impossible. You're just not going to get everyone. Fortunately, this guy was less effective, but Buck is right. I mean, you've got to stay vigilant. You've got to, you know, nobody should be surprised by this. When I got up
I don't
this
think
morning
anybody
and I
is,
got the
Seth.
text, you know, that this happened, nobody should be surprised. This is going to happen. They promote it on a daily basis. They're coming. They want to do this. And unfortunately for us, we're a substantial target.
What does it gain them, Buck? Why do they want to do it so badly other than the bragging rights of how many Americans they killed? What is the goal here? Attention?
They believe that they're engaged jihadists, whether they have connections to the Islamic State or Al Qaeda, or they just have self-radicalized. They believe that they are holy warriors in a global struggle against non-believers, and anything that they can do to lash out against us is part of that. The more civilians, the more innocent men, women, and children that they can maim and murder, the greater their role in that jihad. So that's why attacking civilians, especially during the holiday season, and as has been noted, at a mass transportation hub like this, a big part of it is the psychology. Sure, this individual's bomb did not go off. He wasn't skilled. He didn't have good terror tradecraft, as we would say in the business. But now, a lot of people here in New York City, Trish, and I know as the commissioner knows, they're going to be worried as they get on the subway. When they gather near Rockefeller Center to look at the tree, they're going to be just thinking in the back of their minds, you know, what if? And a level of vigilance is good, but we also have to remember that part of the terrorists' goals here, one of their major goals, is to keep us in a constant state of fear, anxiety, and to make us change our daily routines.
I want to point out to both of you that our own John Roberts is reporting that this terrorist came into the United States of America via the chain migration system. The chain migration system. In other words, if you are from Bangladesh and you got family members that you want to bring over from Bangladesh, we don't care whether or not those people are qualified to be here, whether they even like America or want to be Americans. We bring them because somehow they're related to you. And this gets us back to that issue, Bernie, of how this has to change. We have to rethink how we approach immigration. And there's nothing wrong with saying that. We want the best people. We want the brightest people, most hardworking, and the most patriotic.
I think that's the best thing the president has talked about yet. You know, I'm against the random coming into the country, the anchor baby stuff, where people come in here and, you know, they come to visit, their wife has a baby, that baby becomes a citizen. They have access to the states anytime they want. There's a number of things within the immigration system that's wrong with it. And I think the president, while he's in office, he's got to get it changed.
Indeed. And I think he will. Bernie and Buck, thank you very much. Good to see you guys.
Good to see you,
We are
Trish.
expecting to hear from the White House. I wouldn't be surprised to see this issue